A massive show of support for the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad here in the Syrian capital. Hundreds of thousands of people, perhaps even millions, taking part in demonstrations across the country. I'm joined here by Ali, who's come out in support of the president. Tell me, why are you here today and what is the message you're trying to send?
I'm here to support my president and our president, Bashar al-Assad, Dr. Bashar al-Assad. And our message is not to the fake media, like BBC and CNN. They all produce things that never happen, like I don't know, against the president. Here we have safety, we have good income, we are all safe, and we love Bashar al-Assad.
Now here on the other side of the square, people are chanting God, Syria, and their support for President Assad. Now, it's clear that people do want to see reforms, media reforms and political reforms, but it shows you there is a broad base of support for the president. People here telling me that while they want to see these reforms implemented, they are very happy with President Assad and they want him to stay in power.
الذين تدفقوا في هذا الصباح على شوارع دمشق وحلب وحمص وكل مدننا ومحافظاتنا ليؤكدوا باستمرار أن هذا الشعب وهذا البلد وهذا الوطن عصي على كل محاولات دس الدسائس وزرع المؤامرات ومحاولة تنفيذ المخططات التي دبرت في ليل لهذا الوطن للنيل من صموده وعزته وقدرته ومجده وقدرته على رسم ما يجول في القلوب وعلى تحقيق ما يطمح إليه الشرفاء كل الشرفاء في وطننا الحبيب. إذن من جديد عودة إلى هذه المشاهد من مدينة دمشق ومدينة حلب، ونحن نعد الأعزاء المشاهدين أننا سننتقل معهم بعد قليل إلى كل مدننا أو معظم مدننا الكبيرة، حمص وحماة واللاذقية وغيرها من المدن السورية. كنا سننتقل إلى بقية هذه المدن، ولكن يبدو أن الصورة ليست جاهزة بعد. إذن سننتقل بعد قليل إلى هذه المدن. ريثما ننتقل سوف أستبقي من جديد معي الدكتور طلال ناجي الذي كنا قد ودعناه قبل قليل تمهيدا لانتقالنا إلى حمص. ريثما ننتقل إلى حمص وبقية المدن والمحافظات السورية.
ونحن نحتشد في ساحات الوطن وشوارعه، نؤكد من جديد أن اللحمة الوطنية وأن وحدة الشعب عصية على الأخذ لا من الداخل ولا من الخارج، وأننا اليوم أكثر تمسكا بالقيادة التاريخية للسيد الرئيس بشار الأسد باني سوريا الحديثة وقائد مسيرة التطوير والتحديث ورائد القومية العربية في هذا الزمن العربي الصعب.
Foreign media to examine events in Syria. British journalist Lizzie Phelan started a visit to the country a week ago and talked about her impressions.
The British journalist Lizzie Phelan started a visit to Syria a week ago and talked about her impressions.
Yes, I've been in Damascus for 6 days now. I'm come here as a journalist from England, and I've been very surprised to witness the situation here, because before I arrived, I followed the media on what was happening in Syria, and I got the impression, as many people in England do, that the whole country is in a complete state of chaos, that it's very unsafe, and that there is army in the streets, and that there is big protests every day across the country against the government, the Syrian government. So when I arrived, I was very surprised, and I have been for the past 6 days, not only to find that life continues relatively normally here. Of course, there's some problems as that we can see, but people are going to work, people are going to school. The city is very safe. I've been traveling around on my own at times, sometimes late at night, and I've had no problems. And I haven't so far seen any big demonstrations against the government. Actually, I've witnessed a massive demonstration in support of the government just a few days ago in Umayyin Square. So really, I've been very surprised, as I said, to what I've witnessed here is completely different from what has been told to the public in the West, in England, the United States and other countries.
In reply to a question about the demonstration of the Umayyad Square and how President Assad came to the square and talked to the people, Philan said,
I thought it was really amazing when President Bashar al-Assad, he went to the demonstration a few days ago amongst the people and spoke to them. Really, it shows for me that while the media, BBC, Al Jazeera, etc., is saying that President Bashar al-Assad is hated by his people, that actually he can go into a square where there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, and I saw the reaction of the people. They were really very delighted and excited to see him, and wanted to express their love and their support for him. And he went there with his wife and his children, quite unconcerned for his security, which is not really the actions of a president who is hated and in fear of his own people. So that was really my main impressions.
You don't like BBC?
BBC كله.
Why?
سيء. لا يعني BBC سيء.
Because you are talking very bad about Syria. You are not telling the truth
but
about
you know
Syria.
what? This is the first time I've been able to come to Syria.
No, why
my
before
first
you didn't
visa.
come? Why before you didn't come?
I didn't have a visa.
No, why you didn't get the visa?
We've been waiting for a visa to come to tell your
it's
story.
not correct. Everybody can come to Syria and get visa.
It's not true. Fadi is here. We can ask Fadi.
No, it's not correct.
Well, there's no journalists who come to Syria.
No.
Well, tell me what your story is then. What do you think? What is? Tell me what
okay,
they.
finish.
No, but tell me what do you think is? What is the lie that's being told? What do you think is not being
told? You lie
told?
because you are talking truth, not truth about the Syria.
So
Syria
what is
is
the
very
truth?
quiet.
What is
the truth? That nothing we have in Syria. Syria is very quiet, and everybody in population in Syria loves our president, and we support the president. But you are talking the very lie about Syria.
Well, I didn't lie. It's my first day here.
No, you are lying because everybody here, population 23 million persons from Syria love Bashar al-Assad and support Bashar al-Assad.
But I'm not making it up. There are pictures of
No,
protests.
you are.
But there are pictures.
Your advertisement like that.
But if we see, yes,
No,
there are people like you who
you are
support.
you are telling like that.
Well,
Everybody when BBC Arabic, he can hear the lie about Syria. Al Jazeera and Al Arabiya.
But what is it? But maybe Syria is like any country. Some people support and some people don't
everybody
support.
has support.
So Syria is different.
There is very little people. Maybe 10,000 like that. But the most of people, 22 million, 23 million persons support Bashar al-Assad.
But even the
and we have not demonstration. We have armed gangs.
But even the president said there needs to be some change.
Yes.
He did say that.
Change.
Yes. He said there are some legitimate grievances.
He is always doing to make that change.
Yes.
He's trying always to make this change. So is it we support him? But you are telling the lie about the Syria. Now finish.
Mr. Bashar al-Assad for very good and very kill.
But you have to know, you and...
Very good, and I like...
Just want to tell you something. Now you are representing the BBC, yes? You have to know you are working in BBC and all people that they are working in Al Jazeera, Al Arabiya, that everybody in Syria, population of Syria, they know, pretty sure that you are lying. This is the most important.
We want Bashar al-Assad! We want Bashar al-Assad! We want Bashar al-Assad!
My name is Muhammad Rafi. I'm a Syrian actor. You are now in Sabah Bahrat Square. It's in the middle of the city. After the speech of our president, Dr. Bashar al-Assad, we went to the streets just to say what's our opinion about what the speech says.
I love Bashar al-Assad!
We are in Syria, the media, the free media in Syria, we're talking about the freedom. We are freedom. We are here to say we are with you, Bashar al-Assad.
Bashar al-Assad! Bashar al-Assad!
About the Jazeera channel, I think, to be honest, everything is fabricated, and I think there's someone who pays money just to make this the whole lying. Everything what she's saying in the Jazeera is lying.
Fuck you, Jazeera! Fuck you, Jazeera! Fuck you, Jazeera!
ينبطوا لأنه هذا البدنيا.
Fuck you, BBC! Fuck you, BBC! Fuck you, BBC!
Hamad bin Khalifa, the Prince of Qatar, because he wants to make Qatar, and he wants to be the first president in the Middle East, you know, like he's the king of the Middle East. So that's why he pays money, and he makes tells the channel, Jazeera channel, just to fabricate and to tell the Syrian people that the government and the army and the police are killing the people in the streets. I'm a Syrian, I live in Syria, I live in Damascus, I see everything in the streets. The people are safe with the army and the police because they are here just to protect us, not to kill us.
جزيرة ولا عربية لا جزيرة ولا عربية سوريا الدنيا الإخبارية سوريا الدنيا الإخبارية لا جزيرة ولا عربية لا جزيرة ولا عربية سوريا الدنيا الإخبارية سوريا الدنيا الإخبارية.
And I just, before like 10 minutes, I was called, there is a call from Dubai. One of my friends, she says, you know, is everything is okay in Damascus? I said, yeah, we are walking in the streets. She says, no, we heard in the media that there is planes, bombs and tanks and everything. I said, no, there's nothing, just come and see. And I want to tell everyone to come and see Syria and to feel the peace in Syria.
We have been traveling, and back from Syria, I wanted to bring you a conversation I had with some of the women in Damascus. As we've said before, it's a secular culture. I think a lot of people are surprised that you can choose to wear the scarf, not wear the scarf. You see everything in the streets. But I sat down with them to talk about them and us. The women of Damascus. They tell me covering your head is optional here. For Amal, it feels like keeping touch with tradition. But she says the things people ask her are strange.
Somebody also once asked me, do you have hair Do you dress your hair? Of course, I do have beautiful hair also.
Did any of you ever wear the hijab?
No. Actually, what I wanted to say is that you have in Syria many religions living together. I'm Christian, for example, and I've never asked any of my friends, what is your religion?
I, as a Muslim, pray 5 times a day, but I've been every single Christmas to the church with my friends, so it just shows what we truly are.
What do they think of American women? They say we have so many opportunities, yet they'd give us something from Syria. Safety on the streets, family to help with children, and the government helping too.
They could be a lot better, family and professionally wise, in making family life in balance with the profession. I feel the U.S. as a very rich and strong country could have offered a lot more for working women.
I think relationships here are much better, like family-wise. The children stays at their parents' home till they get married, so this is really a very, very different point. Like, it's not like in the United States.
We have very cheap and much better kindergarten and nursery. I put my children in nursery since they were 2 months old, and that's how I was able to keep my career and have a family. It's much easier for me to be a career woman with a family in Syria than it is in the U.S.
What about marriage? These women say family influences your choice, but if there's someone you love, there's always a way.
I think then if you want to find someone who loved somebody in Syria and wasn't able to marry him because of family pressure, you wouldn't find any. There are always ways. You talk to your uncle and to your aunt and to your grandmother and the father and the uncle interferes. You know, I loved an Iraqi, you know, and came from Britain, loved them in Britain, and I came here and managed to marry him.
Would I be surprised by Syrian television? Is there sort of a Sex and the City Syria?
I don't think so. You would never find
Too much talk about sex on American television?
I don't think so, basically.
Too much talk about sex?
No.
Yes, I think so. Yes, I think so. And I think it has to be done properly and to be put in perspective.
Contrast that to Syria, they say, where there's far less teen pregnancy, possibly because a young man knows he's facing not just her, but the whole family. Is it that Syrian men are more respectful?
Yeah.
They don't try anything?
No, they do. But I mean, they respect the ladies and everything because they know it might bring some problems
with the families.
With the family.
I can hear right now American parents saying, "What is the secret of these families that you don't have teenage rebellion?
No.
You don't have teenagers storming off and saying, I never want to see you again."
No, I'll tell you something. Rebellion is something every generation goes through. It all depends on the level of rebellion. It could be expressed in so many different ways. It could be, I mean, there are levels of rebellion.
They rebel and go outside the family. If they rebel, they go to their aunt or uncle.
And from the women of Damascus, a final message to women here.
Well, I want to say that we share so many things at a human level, whether we are Jews or Christians or Muslims. There are so many things that we share. When we meet together, the things that we differ about are much smaller than the things that we agree on. And therefore, let us not allow politics and strategies of some parties to keep us far apart. Let us work together for peace in the world.
Again, I can't stress enough how they kept saying, we look at your culture and you can't keep the family together just geographically, and it makes such a difference that everyone lives at home, men and women, into their 20s until they get married. So the family stays intact, and again, you got to answer to the whole family, as I say, for whatever you do out on the town.
What did you take away from being around these women?
Well, you know, they are remarkable, and I do take from them the fact, first of all, they know everything about us. Everything. They see American television. There was a Paris Hilton picture on the cover of the Syrian newspaper when I was there. We know virtually nothing about them.
غالي 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 اسلام يا وطن أبياني يالي شالت ثورة الأبطال الشمس تسطع ما بتنطال شالت ثورة الأبطال الشمس تسطع ما بتنطال جبروا فرنسا عالترحال فينا العرب روحي ومالي لالي 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 يعلمنا لالي بالعالي غالي 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 اسمك يا وطننا يا غالي تحت جناحه أنا بتفيا أنا سوري أبياني يالي صدوا فرنسا بالمقلاع وقالوا يا محتل اطلع صدوا فرنسا بالمقلاع وقالوا يا محتل اطلع بي وجدي قال اسمع تراب الوطن عالروح غالي لالي 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 يعلمنا لالي بالعالي غالي 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 اسمك يا وطننا يا غالي تحت جناحه وانا بتفيا انا سوري ابياني يالي
شكرين يا بنا ها شكرين بنصيروا هلا بوشنا دغري نروح
2 حق جوال 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10
هم رايحين على الشارع بس خايفين شغلنا بالدربه مو قدام الدربه رجع
شاف وصلوا لدراكم؟ لا رشن